So let's take a moment. Hopefully you're tired of sitting, your bellies are full. You might be getting a little tired. See if you can just really begin to notice and feel into what it is you are experiencing. And take a deep breath into whatever it is and welcome. Welcome. Stay one with that experience, even if it moves. I let go of the desire for security, affection, control. I let go of the desire to change what I'm experiencing. Welcome. Stay connected. I let go of the desire for security, affection, control. Welcome. Welcome. And when you're ready, you can come back to the front. My personal mantra in this journey is radical, invincible trust. That the one who's led me to it will lead me through it and will allow for myself to be given everything I need in the moment. Because what I'm with is my tears are sometimes the hardest thing for me to access, and I've generally had accessed them in business situations which were the last setting I ever wanted to. Or settings that I did not, but tears are the gift of softening the heart. So I trust that if we really need it, it'll be provided however it looks. And what you described about welcoming is how it should be. Folks, this is what welcoming looks like. It's an energy current that sometimes it's high and sometimes it's low and sometimes it's tough and sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's tight. What the gift of welcoming does, it allows the flow to continue. See, beforehand, under that repression or dumping, I had constrictions in the flow. So now the flow is open. So you never know what you get. Sometimes you just don't know. It might be laughter, it might be weeping, because you brought up another huge point. I had the idea that if I did these practices right, I would never get sad, angry, afraid. Don't you have that kind of you'll just be zone? Yes. You'll just radiate hum. You can't upset me, hum. And if you ever saw the Seinfeld episode Serenity Now, yes. Serenity Now, and then you just... The beautiful part, and this is the gift in the teaching to me of Thomas Keating and Mary Mrozowski and all those greats who've gone before me, they're real. They still have the emotions. But do you know how much science is telling us how long anger lasts? 30 seconds. Do you know most of us don't experience it for 30 seconds? Do we? It takes me 30 years to recognize I was angry, and a couple years to be angry, and then before I'm willing to let go of the anger. That's more my pattern. What they found is that the heart, 5 minutes of anger takes the heart muscle 6 hours to go back to normal rhythm. Well, I don't know about you, but 5 minutes is a pretty quick flash in the pan for me. So what these practices are beginning to do is just bring me back to where they're meant to be. Anger is necessary. It lets you know something is going on that you need to pay attention to. Fear is very helpful. to let you know something is to be looked at, but you don't have to live there. See, we built houses and tents. We kind of got stuck in some of these. Grief, if your life partner dies or has something tragic happen, you're going to feel bad because you love. So this alive, living heart isn't meant to, in any way, not feel. What welcoming enables us to do is to allow the feelings to be the pure feelings. When I'm under the false self, whatever the situation is, triggers all my lifetime of unresolved issues with anger or guilt or fear or joy or pride. It's an all or nothing type thing. So instead of it being this, it becomes this. I had a dog die on me tragically, and Dublin was a great gift. He was a collie. And I was a professional at the time. I was a clinical social worker. I was an executive director of an agency. This dog dies, and I am wiped out. Now, I am dealing with pregnant and parenting teenage girls. Some of them lost a baby. One of them had they were big issues, you know. And this dog's death, it was antifreeze poisoning. No, but so it was very sudden and very, I couldn't function. And what I realized at that stage was all the grief that I could not grieve or did not allow myself to grieve was coming out in buckets. I mean, I couldn't talk, I was really incapacitated. And the gift of these prayer practices was, initially, I was doubly incapacitated because I was ashamed of how I was being. So the first thing that had to deal with was the fact of this crap. That was crap. Once that moved away, I saw that this dog, who was an angel in my life, was the gift because he broke through that and allowed some of the healing, really big hurts and healings to happen, because I couldn't hold it back anymore. So that's the gift that welcoming starts to do. That it's not that you lose it. I did it to, okay, I'll tell you a story on Thomas. Something was going on and I was upset about it, really upset. And there weren't many people to tell about it, and I told them, and I was out walking, because I know now at least that we have to move our bodies with this energy, you know? So I was out walking like that, nighttime. And I had called somebody and just the whole thing, and it was something in contemplative outreach. So anyway, I called Thomas. And thank God, I was like, oh, thank you, please give me the voicemail, because I had to say something, it was that. And that's where my emotions, they pushed me into deal with things. And I hadn't wanted to deal with this issue, but I was being forced to. So I call and I get his voicemail, I think, thank God. And I say, I know I'm in an emotional reaction, but I just, and don't call me, you know, you don't have to call me back, blah, blah, blah. It's nighttime. I mean, I would never call a monastery at night, but that's how it shows you I was just out there flying around. So anyway, he did call back. I made it home. My beloved left me alone, just walking around. The phone rings, and it's Thomas. And he's like, what's going on? And I told him. And I watched. He spiked. It was beautiful to watch. It was like the gift in that taught me what I was upset about was something to be upset about. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't mean to communicate that if we do these practices, we won't be upset or there's nothing to correct. There was something to. What I noticed, though, was he spiked, but he came to his spike real fast and he let it go. It was like, came up, and then it went, and then it was just like, but it didn't last. It was like, done. And I've been walking for 2 hours now. So I've been just churning it, right? You know, bringing it up, churning it, wrapping it around. How could they do this? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it settles. And because he let go of it, and I knew he did, it just was an energetic, it was the most amazing thing to witness. I was like, I guess I could let go of it too. Poof. So I did. It stuck with me. It took a little more because my body now at this point was like this. You know what I mean? I carried, the shoulders had gone, you name it, had tightened, and it was like, wow, maybe that's what it could be, that like, oops, and gone. And I don't know if he even knows the gift of the teaching was for me. At almost 93 years old, who I really consider a spiritual giant on the planet right now, he's still human. Do you know what I mean? It's just that it's a blip. So I don't have to think about erasing your personality or not having any feelings or not getting. It's just that you don't have to carry it around so much or react to it.
Like Jesus at the temple. I mean, Jesus had that blip, but I don't think he. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Juan. I think if Jesus at the temple, it's all human emotion, and Jesus had righteous anger. He was angry, but I don't think for the rest of the day Jesus was griping to the disciples. You believe that?
Exactly. No, I looked, because that was just the passage I was with. He was angry and had a grieved heart, or his heart grieved. Yeah. That it's true that one of the things that somehow got mixed up in the message was that as Christians we should erase some of these emotions. Okay, no fear, no anger. Well, sorrow's okay, not too much grief. You know, a few of them we got to pick and choose. And we don't. This is the human condition, but it changes our relationship with them, and they have a purpose. And once you see the purpose, which Jesus claimed and told them, it was done.
I have a question. My question is, in the 12 steps you're taught, if you work the steps for long enough, you get to the point where you detach and love.
Yes.
I'm really stuck there right now thinking, how do you reconcile those two? Because they're basically saying if you're going to be healthy emotionally, you need how to detach and love. But what you're saying is you really have to own the feelings. So how do you reconcile those two different mindsets? I'm a little...
Because that's a great question, Tish. In my journey, I want to detach and love, but here's how I want to detach and love. Okay. I don't want to get muddy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I want it clean and tidy. I'm detached. That's not life. Life is, I love that commercial, life is messy, clean it up. It's being real. It's like the analogy I give is the Velveteen Rabbit. You get loved so much your nose gets all smushed off because it's real. But the purpose is detachment. But detachment in love. So if you have, let's say, a child going through an extremely bad space, does your heart hurt like hell? Yes, because you love so much. Now the detachment is, do you go in and rescue them? No. I hope you don't. Mary used to say with her kids, she tells a big story, she loved them way too much to interfere with their lives. You love them so much, you're not going to get in there. I love you. Of course I'm not going to rescue you, honey. I love you. Because what that communicates is, I believe in you. You can handle this. I love you. Do you hurt? Yes. The detachment, as I see it, is keeping your hands off it. It doesn't mean that your heart's not just absolutely going through all of the vicissitudes. When I hear some of the stories, there's nothing I can do but weep. Because that's the appropriate thing to do when you hear this. But the difference is, joy can be around the corner. That you can still live your life or see beauty and see goodness. And so that's a paradox. I don't know if it makes sense. But it's fully into, to be really alive and really, in this form anyways, we are human. So we detach in love and we really clean up our behavior. But the feelings that go along with it, welcoming helps me own the feeling, and then it doesn't have the power anymore.